Welcome back to Mac Talks Box Office. Here on Mac Talks Movies, we're going to break down the weekend of January 21st to January 23rd. We're also going to look at, probably for the last time, the 2021 domestic box office. Because we don't have a great amount of numbers here in 2022, we're going to also look at some other movie news stories that possibly affect the box office. So welcome back to Mac Talks Movies here at Mac Talks Box Office here on Mac Talks Movies. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. That's how you support this channel the best way. I do this show every single Monday, as well as movie reviews, TV show reviews, including I'm currently doing spoiler breakdowns of all of Peacemaker, Book of Boba Fett, Euphoria. So please subscribe, ring the bell. I also do a movie ranking, so please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Also comment down below what movie or movies you see at the box office. What movie are you waiting for? If you haven't seen a movie in a while in theaters, what movie will get you to the theater? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also please like the video, the thumbs up. That's why I support this channel. So the biggest thing really for the next couple months, really month or two, will be just breaking down the domestic box office of the past weekend. We don't have a lot of movies coming out, and that will be a thing for another week. We'll get to that at the end of the video. So let's get started talking about the box office. So we had a reversal of 1 and 2 this weekend. So Scream did not hold its #1 spot in its 6th weekend. Spider-Man No Way Home is back at #1 for the 5th time. It was unseated by Scream last weekend. We'll talk about Scream in just a second. 30% drop for Spider-Man No Way Home. $14 million it has grossed, as well as 720 total gross domestically. Again, it is far and away the winner of 2021. It's also the 6th highest grossing, I think, domestic film of all time. This past weekend, it just trumped Jurassic World and the 2019 Lion King. So big news there, because Spider-Man No Way Home deserves all this praise. This is a movie that has got everyone back to the movies and gave us box office numbers that we have not seen since the pandemic. So Spider-Man No Way Home continues to climb up the box office charts. It's a quiet weekend. Once again, now we have a winning week of 14 million. Not that good for the box office again, but also no new movies, really major releases came out, at least for the next 2 weeks. So 30% drop, 720 domestically, unbelievable, especially without China being the number 6 movie of all time. It's only the only movie in the top 10 movies of all time worldwide with no Chinese release date. Amazing stuff for Spider-Man No Way Home. So as I said earlier, Scream came in at #2 this past weekend. So it dropped 59% in its second weekend, 12.2 million. Its domestic total is now up to $51.1 million. So this is a film that was basically made for $25 million, if I'm not mistaken, $20 to $25 million. Really cheap, and it's already made double that. So it is a profitable film just based on the theatrical market. We have not really seen movies being able to be that profitable off of their theatrical releases, just because they're either trumped by putting on a streaming service quickly. But this is a really cheap film that made a lot of money, a horror franchise that does have enough buzz. I think people have been wanting a horror type franchise for a long time. The Conjuring universe has kind of been the only thing of a semblance of a cinematic universe. This is already the 5th Scream film for the new generation. So we'll see Scream 6. I heard they're trying to work on a Scream trilogy at the moment, but we will see. It is going to make its money back pretty much soundly, without advertisement. So big news for them, but still, they could have been doing a touch better. This is a big drop off, and the fact that they already are unseated in 1 week was not a good sign for them. Sing 2 continues to dominate as well. Third place this weekend, 5.5 at the 28% drop in its 5th weekend in theaters, 128 domestic. We'll talk about that last time we'll talk about 2021 domestic list, because we did have our final set of changes to that with Sing 2, but again, not near the greatness box office wise. Again, 600 worldwide. It will not be able to get to that, but still a big win over the family season. It came out 4 days after Spider-Man No Way Home, and it came out the same day as The King's Man and Matrix Resurrections, and has also had to fight off Scream. So big win for Sing, for really hanging in there, being the sole survivor, really, of all of those films all the way back to Christmas. So big win for Sing 2 from Universal. And it's already been available for 3 weeks already on PVOD for $25 per purchase. Well, that's more expensive to see it at home. Even with that being an offering at home, Sing 2 has continued to stay solid at the box office. The only new release to get in the top 5 this weekend is a new film that no one has even probably heard of. It's called Redeeming Love. This is with Logan Marshall Green is in it, and Famke Janssen is in it, and Eric Dane. So not a big film at all, but it opens with $3.5 million. Probably the only week more likely this will be in the charts. But I guess some people, I guess $3.5 million worth of people are in search of some new content. This was the second weekend. Scream has no competition this past weekend and next weekend. But Redeeming Love, which is a new movie exclusively in theaters that started off this Friday, didn't really get that major of a release. No one's talking about it. I've seen no promotion for this movie, but it is in the top 5 at the box office. And coming in 5th place is The King's Man. 5th weekend for The King's Man, $1.7 million, 20% drop off. $31.5 million. King's Man has basically been in the 4 or 5 spot in its basically entire run. It came out, below Matrix Resurrections. Matrix Resurrections has not been on this chart since second weekend. Really bad that Matrix Resurrections is not on this chart anymore. King's Man basically been holding the 5 or 4 spot its entire 5 weeks. So it's been able to stay in the top 5, but it's not really making as much money as you would think for a movie staying in the top 5 for all 5 weeks. $31.5 million just isn't going to cut it for this type of action franchise. We will see. They've already, I said in every video, feels like they are already shooting Kingsman 3 with Taron Egerton. Should be his last film, I believe, in the Kingsman franchise. And based on this spoiler alert, mid-credit scene, they're clearly setting up more films with the prequel universe. So very interesting as well. As I said, Matrix Resurrections has been off this chart for a while, but the movie that, again, also shocking, is the 355 already in its 3rd weekend. It has dropped out of the top 5. This movie absolutely bombed its opening weekend, hung in there. I believe it was number 4 last weekend, and it is now in its 3rd weekend. It is off the charts. I've even seen Jessica Chastain on Jimmy Fallon this past week, not even promoting this movie, even though it's only 2 weeks in theaters, not promoting and really focusing on pushing her Oscar chances for Eyes of Tammy Faye. So this movie has dropped off the planet after its abysmal opening weekend. As I said, the last big change to the domestic box office of 2021 is that we knew it. Sing 2 would be in the top 10 domestic films of 2021. That kicks Free Guy off the top 10 list. And also Sing 2 didn't just pass Free Guy, it also passed Ghostbusters Afterlife. So the final top 10, there'll be no more movement because Sing 2 needs $32 million more, and more likely it will definitely not be able to get that to catch up to A Quiet Place Part 2. So the final of the year, Spider-Man No Way Home is at number 1, Shang-Chi is at number 2, Venom Let There Be Carnage is at number 3, Black Widow 4, F9 is at number 5, Eternals is at 6. Coming in 7th, No Time to Die. 8 is A Quiet Place Part 2. Sing 2 is at number 9, and number 10 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you look at Marvel Studio or Sony properties, the top 4 are Marvel characters. If you count Eternals, that's 5. So 5 of the top 10 are Marvel properties. The other films in that franchise are all franchise films: F9, No Time to Die, A Quiet Place, Sing, and Ghostbusters. So no original films that are non-sequels or non-comic book films made the list. Free Guy, Jungle Cruise, and Dune were all 11, 12, 13. Free Guy was holding on to that spot, and an amazing run for Free Guy. More likely will get its sequel, but Sing 2 has kicked Free Guy off the list. So no new original films that are not in a franchise or comic book franchise got to make the top 10 list. We will see if that changes in 2022. The only major releases that have come out so far have been the 355, which absolutely bombed, and Scream, which did solid, nothing special. So this is coming up the last box office weekend of the month of January. No major releases are hitting theaters at all this past weekend, but we are waiting for 2 more weeks. February 4th, where Moonfall, Jackass Forever will be coming out, both exclusively in theaters. Then we wait for February 11th, when we get Death on the Nile, February 18th, which should be the biggest movie of the month of February with Uncharted. And then we get to the big March 4th, the Batman release. So we'll see if Uncharted can make some numbers. Sony has been a huge hit at the box office, not just with Spider-Man No Way Home, but also with Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And they're seeing if Uncharted and the star power of Tom Holland continues. So that's this week's box office. We're probably going to stop talking about the overall 2021, move past 2021, focus purely 2022 here on this domestic box office. We're still going to look at the overall numbers of the top 10, top 5 movies of the past weekend, but we're going to stop really looking at the worldwide and domestic numbers of 2021 for a ranking. So thanks for joining me on this video. Can't wait to just fully go into 2022 starting next week. I know there's nothing new coming out, but come back next week because we have a lot to break down. Can Scream overtake Spider-Man again, or will Spider-Man hold on to the top spot for the 6th time in 7 weeks? We'll see you guys next week here on Max Talks Movies.